Meeting called to order of the Brownsville Independent School District Board of Trustees regular board meeting, October 18, 2005, 5:30 at the Administration Building. Will all please rise for a moment of silence and the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one and indivisible.
Roll call. Everyone's present for tonight's meeting. Got that, Norma? Everybody's here. Move on to item 5. Recommend approving the agenda of the regular board meeting of October 18, 2005 with any corrections. Dr. Solkowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under conference presentation, item A1 will not be addressed tonight.
We'll pull A1?
It's not, we do not have the students with us tonight.
Okay.
Item A3 should read, presentation of the Brownsville Independent School District Financial Report for the period ending August 31st, 2005. Under general function, item A6 will not be addressed tonight. A6.
We're pulling A6?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Under budget amendments, item C14, page 119 is to be replaced. That's C14, page 119 will be replaced. Under contract agreements, item D18, page 140 is to be replaced. That's item D18, page 140 is to be replaced. And under personnel matters, item A, number A26, pages 206 and page 209 to be replaced. Did everyone get those? You want me to go over them again?
Number 3, how do you want to read again?
Excuse me?
A3 again? Okay, I'm sorry. All righty, is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Second, there's a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Move on to item 6, Roman numeral 6, recommend approving the minutes of the regular board meeting of October 4th, 2005. Is there a motion? Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on that, Mr. Munoz? Satisfied? There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes of October 4th, 2005. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimous. And Mr. Kalunga will be abstaining. Move on to item number 7, Superintendent's Report Conference Presentation. Item 1 has been pulled. We go to item 2, presentation of the Brownsville Independent School District Quarterly Overtime Report for the period ended September 30th, 2005. Dr. Solkowski.
By board request, we're putting our overtime cost in here by the quarter. And we put in the first quarter. Remember, that's June, July, August, and so in September. So we picked up a lot of getting school ready, a lot of custodial, and some of these accounts have funds rolling in. We have all kinds of people who have overtime, interpreters, people, custodial, federal grants that pay for tutorials after school and all of that. So all of this ends up in this overtime report. But I have a breakdown of the big numbers. If anyone has a question, I'll answer it. But basically, to be honest with you, we're pretty good coming through the summer because we had a lot of buildings to get ready. And everyone knows what their budget is.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Dr. Z, this is good. I like that. We'll see. The only thing I have a question is on the schools that show no budgeted items. They're blank ones, like if you go to the list.
Longoria?
Longoria, Martin. Is there
Okay.
a reason for that, or they just never requested?
We'll have to amend, like Longoria has $19. We'll have to amend that account. That will come back the next time. They didn't put any in there. They felt like they may not need it.
Okay.
We're going to amend it. When you see it next time, you're going to say, well, it's changed a little bit.
Okay.
It could change.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional? I'm sorry.
One other thing, and at Hannah High School, you know, we always say Hannah's high, but Hannah has a lot of things going on with speech and special ed and different things, and so we do pick up that overtime.
Additional comments? Move on to presentation, item 3, presentation of the Brownsville Independent School District's financial report for period ended August 31st, 2005. Dr. Solkowski.
We'll answer any questions. This is still, you'll notice that it's still early because the revenue hasn't really come in from the state yet, and we'll notice a jump here pretty quick.
Any comments on the board? Any questions? Move on to B, standing board agenda items. Item 4, board calendar. Dr. Solkowski.
We're busy as always. Tomorrow, we have a policy committee meeting here at 5:30, and we have a pile of policies. We'll see how many we can get through. I've been working with Dr. Escobedo, and we've got things in order. Everyone should have received that book. Also, we have some tax. We have University Day event at the Event Center also on the 20th. This Saturday is our buddy Special Olympics at the stadium. Excited about that. I believe it starts at 8:30. Next week, big week, we have the school board, the state school board convention has been moved to next week, and we have, I believe, a few members going to that to pick up some hours and stuff that they need for their training. Then the following week, November 1st, we have a regular board meeting. On November 2nd, we have an insurance committee meeting at 5:30, which is not on there, I don't believe, at this point. At the 2nd of November, we'll have a regular board meeting on the 1st. Please mark your calendar. It'll be in the Friday letter. The 2nd is an insurance meeting at 5:30. We have a couple of 3 things to show the board. Our voluntary products, they've been going along with Mr. Looney, and there'll be a report presented by different people, right, Mr. Sanchez? And then there's some different things. Very interesting. The following week by the way, we have the American Heart Walk on the 5th. On the 7th, tentative set at 5:30 will be a curriculum committee meeting on the 7th of November. On November 8th, it is an election day. I think the only thing there is a deck meeting with our staff. We have our big math contest on the 12th. Regular board meeting is on the 15th. The 19th is the facility bus trip, which will leave here about 8:30 or 9 for those members who want to join us on Saturday. We will look at probably, Oscar and Hector and I have talked about 8 or 9 projects that morning, a little walk through and get everybody caught up. I believe if you're not going, please notify me. I can arrange another time if you're not available. You'll notice that we get out for Thanksgiving on the 23rd, and we'll be out. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Any comments, questions for Dr. Solkowski? Thank you, Doctor. We move on to item 8. The next item of our agenda is the public comment period. This is the time for citizen staff or students to provide their comments to the board. Statements and questions from the audience will not be permitted during other portions of the meeting, so please let us hear from you now if you have comments to present. To have your comments heard tonight, your name and the subject matter of your comments must appear on the sign-in sheet, which is located at the rear of the meeting room. Each speaker will be limited to 5 minutes to complete his or her comments. With all due courtesy, I will enforce that time limit. Counselor, you'll help me with the time? Yes, sir. If a group of people want to be heard on the same topic, the board asks that they designate a spokesperson to avoid needless repetition. The board has adopted rules to preclude the abuse of open forum by, for example, anyone uselessly repeating the same comment or complaint meeting after meeting. All participants must understand that if your comment, in my judgment, constitutes a complaint against an employee or officer, I will interrupt and ask you to stop and direct you to proceed with the BISD's formal grievance procedures, be that DGBA, FNG, or GF local of our local policy. With those cautions in mind, we will now be glad to hear the general comments. We'll start with Gladys Bernal, dyslexia teachers, subject Dyslexia Awareness Conference.
Good evening. I'm Gladys Bernal, and we have a team here representing the Dyslexia Department for BISD, their teachers, and our secretary in the office. And we're only here to invite you. It's our pleasure to invite you to our Dyslexia Conference, which will be held at UTB on October the 29th. That's a Saturday from 8 to 1. Last May, the area Austin area branch of the International Dyslexia Association contacted UTB with an interest in conducting a conference here in the Valley. Mr. Steve Wilder, who is the director of the Disability Center there at UTB, in turn contacted us and other service providers. And since then, we've had lots of meetings, and lots of plannings, and some good things are going on. And I really feel that this is going to be a plus for the district. We have speakers coming in from Dallas and from Austin, and we're going to deal with dyslexia from the early stages of identification and carrying them through adulthood and dealing with it as an adult. That's what we're here for, and I know that you've been given the invitations. The little orange flyers that you received were the invitations that we're sending to parents. They've been sent out to the campuses. Our dyslexia teachers send them out with the students in English and Spanish, and then they make calls to their parents, so we really are expecting a good outcome. There will be daycare provided, and the children will be getting a McDonald's meal, and there'll be refreshments for adults. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bernal.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
We'll, Drew Brown, would you put it on the web for us so that any parent that gets on the web will also know that we're having the dyslexic conference? Thank you.
Thank you. Second person is George Borrego. Subject matter is miscellaneous.
Believe it or not, I have very little to say, but I'll probably take 5 minutes anyway. So time me. Several meetings ago, we complained about our classes being overloaded. That's been addressed. It's continually being addressed, and we thank the board and administration for trying to take care of our teachers so that we can take care of our kids and pass that infamous test. So thank you. Item number 2. Every year, for about 7 or 8 years now, I have come before this board around this time, sometimes a little earlier, asking for the day for the janitors and the staff that works on Friday after Thanksgiving. It was not put on the calendar this year. It is a horrible day to work unless you're in one of those positions. The janitors and that other staff rarely have long weekends. They do not have, it's against board policy to use that day as a personal day or sick leave because they will be docked the holiday pay. So I would like to ask one of the board members, or all 7, to please put on the agenda for next meeting that day be declared a holiday for our staff so that they can have that long holiday like most of us. I know some people do have to work, but I think they deserve a break. And if you could give it to them, it would be fabulous. I see on the agenda, item number 3, Bastedo, the project at Bastedo has been put on hold. I know not why, but I guess sometimes it's best to sit back and look at things again, make sure you're making the right decision, check out all sites. There's been mention that that place was supposed to be used for a park for that area. Let's investigate it thoroughly and make a good decision instead of rushing into one. We're getting the kids ready for talks, focusing on the test. And I know that it's state mandated. I know we have to do it. I know the kids have to pass, and now there's, with AYP, there's even major penalties for not showing improvement. And we have to do that. But is that TOX test getting our kids ready for the world, for the future? I think it lacks a little bit. Some of our employers, our future employers, are asking for some of the skills that we're not teaching through the TOX. We need to make sure that we focus on the whole picture, on developing the whole student
so that that individual, as he graduates, is ready to go to college or is ready to join the workforce, and he has the skills that employers want. And if we don't know what those skills are, then we need to ask the employers. Maybe we need to do a survey. Maybe we need to have some major discussions with large businesses in the community that will give us direction, because we can teach the talks. No big deal. And they can pass the test. But we need to prepare a well-rounded student. I have always said for many years, community service should be part of a graduation degree with this district. Community service is something a lot of us do, including the people right in front of me. But a lot of our students go through life without doing any community service. And the feeling that you get from helping others is something you cannot learn in a classroom. You have to live it. And when you get that skill, when you develop that community involvement, you are developing a well-rounded citizen, one that cares about himself, his family, and his community. And that is what BISD has to focus on for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Borrego. Next person and last is Francisco Cifuentes, District Concerns.
Good afternoon, President of the Board, Board members, Superintendent, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Francisco Cifuentes. I come here today after reading a book about the exoneration of the Brownsville black soldiers that were here in 1906 that were accused of shooting up the town. And when I was reading the book, I saw how the black people were treated all of those years. And it almost brought me to tears to know the many lynchings that were going on, not only in Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, and all over. And last week, listening to some of the employees in this district, it brought some of those memories that where we treated employees as slaves here in this district. I don't know how many of you know that custodians and cafeteria employees are not allowed to work not even 3 minutes or 5 minutes overtime. It's a no-no. It's forbidden by this administration, yet I showed this administration before that you were granting thousands and thousands of dollars to many of the employees in this office. 2 or 3 employees do not show up for work. Custodians have problems or mental or health, whatever problems they might have, they don't show up for work. The other 2 employees are asked to do all of the work of the other 2 or 3 employees that didn't come in because you, the district, are not filling up those jobs with the extra people. You have thousands of applications on file. You have hundreds of people seeking employment, even as part-timers, yet they're not called to perform any duties because you don't want to spend the money. You got the budget on the backs of the poor people. That's how you balance the budget. You don't call people to fill those positions. You ask that employee, and someone brought me a reprimand. She was grieving a reprimand today for not doing the job. What type of a job? Not what she was assigned. Other job for other employee that did not show up because he's got his wife on therapy in Houston, so he's going to be out for a month, yet you're not willing to put another person to do the job. You want that person to do extra duties, to do double the work. And someone told me in this administration, Mr. Cifuentes, everybody comes to this district to work, which they will be true for everybody else. And you know it's not true. Not everybody put their work. their time. And a lot of people make a lot of money, and they're not doing the job. And they're treating these people as slaves in this age, and I regret that. And I need to inform you that you must take immediate action on that with the employees of this district. Treat them equally, fairly, and decency. They don't deserve any less than that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cifuentes. We move on to item number 9, consent agenda. I have received a list from my colleagues indicating that there is no need for discussion or deliberation on the following agenda items. Under general function A, recommend approval of the following general function items. Item number 5. B, recommend approval of the following payments. Item number 10. Number 12. C, recommend approval of the following budget amendments. 13, 14, 15. Under personnel items, closed meeting, personnel items A, item number 10. Roman numeral 10 is item under A, item 25, item 27. Is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
Second. Motion and second to approve the consent items. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Move on to general function item A, item 7, recommend approval to rent Triple T program space from North Park Plaza, A, Texas Partnership, Brownsville, Texas, in the amount not to exceed $9,996 from budgeted state special educational funds on a month-by-month basis, $833 a month for the 2005-2006 school year. Is there a motion to accept?
Move to accept.
Second.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion, Mr. Munoz.
Yes, sir. I'd like to know how many students are signed up to use it versus how many actually use the service. And also, I'd like to hear about staffing.
Ms. Fox.
Thank you, Dr. Zolkowski. Mr. Lehman, members of the board, I apologize for not having the actual numbers of students. We do have, I believe, 3 instructors with the group. They are headquartered there in the North Park Plaza. They spend part of the day there, and they take public transportation and/or school transportation, depending, and go to work sites, Kmart, places like that. Many years ago, this program was housed at the Sunrise Mall. When the remodeling took place at the Sunrise Mall, they asked us to leave. And we went to North Park Plaza at that time. Subsequent to that, we've talked to them again, hoping that we will sometime get back into the mall. But at this time, there is no place there. We have researched a little bit with Kmart, has a facility in conjunction with their bigger plant. We were almost on the verge of securing something with them, and Sears is using that for storage. So we're continuing to look at different sites because we'd like to get into a mall-type setting with these students where they actually are doing the work as we're training them from classroom into the work site. We'd like to get closer to the work sites, but at this time we don't have. I will get the numbers for you and have them to the superintendent.
Good. Thank you.
Mr. Colunga.
Thank you, Mr. Lehman. The alternatives to the actual rent, has that been looked at as far as what alternatives? I think you had mentioned, Mrs. Fox, on the other locations that you're looking at. Is it an assumption that it should be in that type of setting, or is it can it be in any other type of setting that would avoid the rental costs? Or
Well, sir, it could be, yes, it could be in one of our school facilities. However, the purpose of the program is to transition them from school to the work site. And so the students generally enjoy the site off campus, and therefore it helps the teachers transition them better into the actual work site where they're going to do the work. But it could be held in a public school. It's just a matter of space availability and trying to get the students closer to their work sites.
Thank you.
Additional comments? There's a motion and a second to approve item number 7. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Item number 8, discussion and possible action to authorize administration to conduct contract negotiations regarding the allocation of days for completion of the adaptive aquatic pool, Margaret Clark Aquatic Center, and possible waiver of adjustments of liquidated damages on the owner-contractor agreement with Jamail Construction. Motion.
So move.
Approved. Second. There's a motion and a second to approve. Discussion. Mr. Munoz.
Yes, sir. What is the contractor's argument for not wanting to agree to the terms?
I'm going to turn it over to Hector a minute, then I have a comment that I'll make. Go ahead, Hector.
Thank you, Dr. Sokowski, Mr. Lehman, members of the board. We put this agenda item on because at the beginning, we were negotiating with Jamail Construction, trying to get this contract moving forward. They had come back and they wanted 269 days plus liquidated damages of only $100 a day. I'm glad to say that before this board meeting by noon, I had worked it out with one of the corporate representatives, and they have agreed to 200 days as specified under the specifications that we let out, and 500 a day liquidated damage if that's okay from the board. The original request came out with $1,200 a day for LDs. So I think administration can recommend staying with the 200 days for completion, substantial completion, and $500 a day under liquidated damages. And they worked that out. The only stipulation they did have is to not start counting the days until they obtain their permits rather than when they were given the notice to proceed. I told them we could work around that would probably be okay to start counting when they actually obtain the permits, as long as it didn't take too long to obtain the permits. I'd like to see the permits within a week or so after the notice to proceed, and they agreed to that.
Good. Mr. Munoz, I talked to Mr. Greg Smith. I guess he's one of the carpet people. Called me this morning and tried to reach him yesterday, and what Mr. Gonzalez says is completely accurate, because when they went to $100 rather than $500, had a problem, and also had a problem with them taking that long to build this project. So after several phone conversations, and then I had Hector visit with them, we feel that that'll be the best deal for us. So we wanted to bring it back to the board because it wasn't the original thing that we talked about. We want the board to be up on this.
Thank you, Mr. Lehman. The agreement then has been reached to.
We're looking at 200 days when they get their licenses, proceed to work, and then the other thing is it'll be $500 a day. One of the things that was holding them up is that I think it's like 40 or 50 foot piers under the bottom, and they were worried about hitting water and having to pump that dry while they're pouring. But I really believe we can make it. I don't think 200 is out of the realm. It's not that large a building.
Will there be a groundbreaking when it gets to that point?
Yeah, we could probably have a little groundbreaking. I'll get with Drew Brown and we'll put that together. Because we've waited a long, I've heard about this 3 years before I got here. So I'm ready to move on this thing.
Additional comments from the board?
I'd like to commend the administration for reaching the agreement. I think it's commendable that they did so.
Question. Dr. Salkowski, the agenda item says we are authorizing you to conduct contract negotiations. So, in a sense, you are agreeing, or if they agree, we're asking for 200 days completion and $500 liquidation.
Correct.
If they accept, you are authorized to accept that.
And we
that
can
way you
move
don't have
on.
to come back.
Exactly.
The way the agenda item reads.
Yes.
Execute. Okay, that way Mr. Colunga can have that groundbreaking. Then there is a motion and a second to approve what was just discussed, and I need a show of hands for approving or saying aye. 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 Motion carries. Item number 9, discussion, consideration, and possible action to temporarily suspend engineering and construction-related activities for the satellite bus barn facility currently proposed to be constructed at the Bastedo Middle School location. This action pending consideration of possible alternative locations which could provide monetary savings and functional enhancements of this proposed facility. I'll go into discussion with Mr. Munoz, and he put the agenda item. Mr. Munoz.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. We've had several things come to our attention, and there are some developments after we agreed to build this facility on on Southmost Road, adjacent to the State School. And for your consideration, I'd like to remind the members that according to the documents that I've seen, we only have 38.4 acres of land at Bastato and Aiken site. So I don't know. That's marginal as far as a middle school and an elementary school predicated upon our own policy. We need 15 or 20 or 20 or 25 for those types of schools, and so we're right on the edge as it is now. So I don't know how many acres we're talking about. I know it's over 5. Is it over 10 or so, or 5 acres? 5-6 acres. Well, anyway, it will certainly marginalize the land that we have there. That's one argument that I have against putting it there. The other argument is, and I've said this from the beginning, is it's up against the river, so to speak, and you only have a 180-degree radius. So if we moved it further into the district, we'd have a 360-degree area to serve. So I think there are other areas. The other thing is that several other things. This property is probably more valuable as commercial property. Anything along Southmost Road is becoming extremely valuable. If we have 5 acres that we think we can sell there, certainly we can get a whole lot of money for it. Mr. Borrego mentioned something about a park. I'm not aware of any plans for a park there, but that's certainly something to consider. A partnership with the city. We have property needs and they have park needs, and we might be able to work something out with them along those lines. The other item that I'd like you to consider is that at Morningside School, which is, in my opinion, a much better and centralized location with a full radius around it, we have 49 acres on that elementary school site. So even if we, by our own standards, we only need 15 or 20 acres for an elementary school, that leaves us with a lot of surplus land. So certainly one school on 49 acres is a whole lot better than 2 schools on 38 acres. So I would also consider putting it at Morningside. And looking at the property, we also have a situation where we're looking at another property, which is 19 acres and about 4 acres of building of enclosed air controlled building for a price that we need to negotiate and talk about. But that property is completely fenced, security fenced. It's got security lighting, and it's practically usable within a couple of weeks. We could actually start using it. Certainly, there's a very large, more than 5 acre paved area there that we could utilize, probably for a couple of years before needing to reinforce it. I'd have to look at the specifications and see what's there now, but I know some of it is concrete paved. So I believe that at this point in time, there are things that we know now that we didn't know then, and we are not at the point of construction. So I think probably we should hold up a little bit and consider a couple of other options.
Mr. Aguilar?
Thank you, sir. I'm also in favor of maximizing our monies and looking at other alternatives. However, I do have some concerns. Some of the suggestions that are being aired here tonight, to me, it's going to be a transportation, and I sure hate to kill or jeopardize the neighborhood concept, especially early in the mornings and late in the afternoon when there's thick transportation and buses going up and down. So to me, we got to be careful as to how we place these facilities and not do any damage to our neighbor concept. To me, safety is more valuable than maximizing money. To me, it was more valuable to have a safe family and neighborhoods than to have a depot somewhere out there where kids can get hurt. So we need to be careful as board members to how we choose our location. Secondly, we can look at alternative options, but let's not lose sight that we do need the facilities. We need to not lose sight. We need to say, yes, we can look around and find better options, but let's not say, let's forget about it and wait another 3 years, just like our swimming pools for special ed. We have the tendency to do that, to drag some of our projects. We need to continue with some of the projects that are needed. It's not because we want to, it's because we need it. But then again, we need to be careful, we need to be cautious as to the sites and what we plan to do. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Colunga.
Thank you, Mr. Lehman. The proposal to consider other sites based on savings would certainly be a worthwhile pursuit of option, but I'd like to know from administration what has gone into the previous election as far as criteria for the location and the rationale as far as the option that we have based on existing properties. And
Okay, I'm going to have Mr. Gonzalez. He'd done some research on other properties.
Thank you, Dr. Sokowski. Mr. Lehman, members of the board. Back in, I think, March or so of this past year, we discussed this. We brought it to the board. We put it to the facilities committee meeting as to why we were looking at that property there. It's in a good area as far as for transportation. It's easy egress into Southmost Road that takes us all the way through the neighborhoods we need to. I had Mr. Chirino's transportation director go out there and look at it, do propose routes, see how we could get in and out, and would do substantial savings. And it looked like at that time, within a year to two, we could get back the money that we were going to invest in that transportation location. It's an ideal location because it is right off of Southmost Road. Basically, that particular piece of property has never been really utilized by Bestedo or Aiken in any form or fashion. It just sort of existed there, and we mowed it and kept it up. There was an old house there when we bought the property, if you remember, and we removed that house. We even let security person live there for a while until we decided it was better to remove the house than to keep a security person there. So that was basically vacant land that was there. As far as looking at the land at Morningside, it is a good piece of property. However, it's not conducive for transportation. We could certainly do something else with it, but it's a neighborhood. Put in 100 buses there to go in and out in the morning and the afternoon, create all kinds of traffic congestion. I think we have some complaints from that neighborhood. We put, and not to mention, the streets there are not built for that type of loads. That's built for car loads more than anything else. And there's only one egress, and that's through coming out either through the elementary that's there, or go around and come out by the McDonald's over there on by Garza Elementary through the back way. So those we've looked at, and it's not a conducive for 100 buses to come in and out of in that Morningside area. As far as the other area that I think that Mr. Munoz is alluding to, which is the old Levi's plant, we've looked at it. It takes an enormous amount of money to bring that plant up to speed where we could use it for other things. As far as the parking lot that's there, we've looked at it. It's about for 500 cars, but when you put buses in there, a bus takes about 4 spaces of a car. So you put 100 buses, that's 400 spaces, plus 150 employees that would be there. That's 550 already, and we still have to do the same things we would do. And the parking lot is not conducive to bus. Once the buses start turning in that parking lot, because it is built for cars only, it would start tearing up that parking lot, and we'd probably have to go and rebuild that parking lot within a 2 or 3 year period. So looking at all those things, I can explore other options if you want to. However, I do not see myself being able to recommend the Morningside area as a place. I'm being honest with you. The other area, I would have to do a complete study as far as cost and everything, and see what other uses we could do with that building. And doing a preliminary cost indication already, if the price that was given to me was $4.5 million to buy the property, including the building, just to do an upgrade would be approximately $5 to $6 million. And then if you wanted to use it to a particular use, it'd be another $2 to $3 million. So we're looking at about $13 million to get it up to par. So those are the things that I'm looking at. As administration, I would not be able to recommend that particular location right now in any form or fashion. I can tell you that I could not recommend the Morningside area for a transportation depot simply because of the area that it's at and the ingress, egress. However, if you want me to explore other areas, I certainly will.
Dr. Escobedo? Well, go ahead, Mr.
I just wanted to say that it would be, before making a change in that area, it would be important to know what the rationale has been for the selection of the original location, and for us to offer alternative locations without having the factors considered for the impact on the traffic flow and whether or not that would survive the daily pounding of the pavement. We have certainly the administration that is in the best position to determine the facts in making their recommendations. Before making any change, I would ask for some type of proof that there is an advantage to another location, or that there are the same factors being considered for another location. But as far as considering a commercial property location, I do not see the monetary savings at this point. But that's my opinion.
I can certainly understand Mr. Muñoz's point. You know, I think the intention there is excellent. We should all be thinking about cost-saving analysis, but I believe very firmly that we should finish what we've started. I mean, we've been working on this for a long time now, and we just get it over with, keeping in mind that we have plenty of construction in the future. And as facility chairman, Mr. Muñoz, I think you'll have plenty of opportunity to, to voice your opinion and make a difference. But for now, I believe that we should just finish what we've started.
Additional comments? Mr. Muñoz, I noticed you were...
Well, I think everyone has their opinion, and obviously we don't agree with each other. I certainly don't agree with the cost numbers that Mr. Gonzalez has come up with. I think they're outrageously high. As far as the area is concerned, I really didn't want to mention the location of the other offering that we had because we're still in negotiations. But now that you've mentioned it, well, it's out. So anyway, for $4.5 million, certainly we'd have 40% of the purchase price instead of spending $1.5 million on Southmost Road. So that was one of my motivations for getting us into the airport property. But as you have other vision. But as far as location is concerned, ingress and egress at the airport is excellent. I believe the city bus barn is right across the street from the site we're talking about. We've got a lot of good heavy-duty roads in that area, so we have several options. Mr. Aguilar mentioned something about not wanting to delay it or not wanting to not do it. No one is saying that we're not going to do the bus barn. Actually, the bus barn, in my opinion, could actually come into fruition, could actually be in operation quicker than the project that we're doing right now. But that, again, is my opinion, and obviously we have 7, 8, 9, or 10 opinions here, and we'll vote on it.
I'll comment. I'll just comment as far as the valid points. I'm going to caution my board members on the BAC. After we went into that option, and I think most of the board feels that maybe it was a mistake to do what we did, to relocate the BA or the TLC and the alternative center. And that's a caution. This is a satellite facility that is in a very heavily dense area. The location is prime for what we want to do. And I think Mr. Muñoz has valid points in the mere fact that the location is a industrial area, more conducive to what we want to do. Not only would it be for the barn, but would be multifaceted facility that would probably house 3 divisions or 3 departments of our district. The density factors would be eliminated because you have ingress and egress from 4 different locations. You can access through Boca Chica, Central Avenue, Morningside. So those factors need to be considered. What I would recommend that we discuss this in a properly addressed facilities committee meeting. And if that way Mr. Colungas has valid points that he needs to weigh the differences of opinion and the pros and cons. And I caution this board that maybe there is something that we need to vision and look at, that we don't move hastily or make a move that we're going to regret down the road. Mr. Aguilar?
Just a few comments. One, yes, we all have different opinions, and one thing I don't regret putting back where it is. Again, it's different opinion. It depends what you regret and what your intentions are. Secondly, Dr. Z, if I may ask, Gonzalez.
Yes, please.
Hector, do you know, besides you, who went out there and saw some of these facilities and how you got information? Did you consult any other than yourself or your Chirinos or anybody else? Did you consult anyone else that would give you some information on that?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Trukowski, members of the board. Yes, we did. We looked, everybody that in the department went and looked at the property, and I apologize if people didn't know that I was asked to look at the property. I didn't know we were negotiating in any form or fashion, because I haven't been negotiating with anybody. But I asked to look at the property and make an evaluation concerning the property, and they did tell me what the worth of the property was. And I did send all my department heads, Mr. Arteaga, Ms. Mendez from Food Service, Mr. Chinius from Transportation, and all of my department heads. Plus, we asked some engineers to do some consulting work for us as far as what were the advantages and disadvantages and what it would cost just on a general area into it. Also looked at warehouse, and I think Mr. Sanchez went out there and looked at it himself, and so on and so forth. And we've done some analysis, and I'll be glad to discuss this analysis with whoever wishes, but we also had some experts tell us approximate costs and so on and so forth, and look at the system that was out there.
Yeah, to go on with this analysis, we'll take the whole evening discussing this, and I agree with you, perhaps needs to be reviewed somewhere.
Need to put it in the proper perspective and hold a proper committee meeting. I don't think there is need for action on this item. I would caution my board that the administration has already given us a recommendation. The majority of this board has acted, but I am obligated to hear the concerns of one board member, and I think in proper form, this belongs in a workshop. And if administration would be courteous enough to grant that request to have a workshop, and then we can present both viewpoints. We will make our concerns and our positions known at that time. I think that would be the most proper format. Are we in? Do we concur that that would be the?
It's fine.
Mr. Munoz, is that favorable to you? This is your
All
agenda
I'm
item.
asking for is a suspension, not a cancellation, just a suspension while we
I think administration
look at
gets the gist, and I think they will give us that. You're the chair, so time is of the essence. The sooner you put that item on, the sooner we can act on it. So you can get with administration to get a timetable.
Mr. Lehman.
Yes, sir.
If I may, we have created a little bit of a procedural quagmire, and this is not a comment on the substance of any of the conversations here. I'm not a policymaker by any means. However, we have a motion on the floor at this point in time.
No, sir, there was no motion.
And that there has been no first or second, okay?
There is no motion.
There is no, okay, excuse the words that I used. I'm sorry. There is an agenda item, all right, in which no motion has been made. In prior meetings, there has been the body corporate acting and authorizing administration to go forward. This item is to halt that action, okay?
Right.
So.
Possible action, that's what it reads.
Right. if you want to consider it in the way that you have, because it has been up there, two things happen. Number one, it dies because nobody makes a motion on it. Or number two, there's a motion to table it and to discuss it in committee meeting. Either way, you still have the pending action items from previous meetings that you have to deal with.
I think we're aware of it, and
Okay.
I just wanted to take the form, the item in proper. We should have discussed, I don't want to discuss it here, and I don't think we should.
That's completely up to you guys. I'm just talking very legalistic procedural items here to make sure that our record is correct, because you all do act as a body corporate, and if you all want to discuss this, then I believe the proper motion would be to table it. And how the administration handles the current action items in effect is going to be up to them. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, and the concern, I guess, is to continue with the workshop. So we would we would take the administration to keep that in with the bargain, that we would move on to a workshop type environment to discuss this item.
Well, I think you would need to table it then.
Once we table, it kills this item altogether, so.
No,
Yes.
Table doesn't kill it.
Well, okay, I understand.
If we table it, or more properly postpone it, whether definitely or indefinitely, then we're obligated to bring it back.
Yes.
What I would personally like to see is for it to die for lack of motion.
Yeah, I think that's, and I think the administration, why would we take no action? Why would we want to bring it back unless?
It's up to y'all, whatever y'all want to do.
Okay,
But
I'll ask for a motion if that's, yes, sir, yes, sir, Mr. Farris.
I think we've hit this thing very hard. The only question I always, I'll hit, I like what Escobedo said, how much work has been involved already in this project? How much have we spent currently in this project? I know we were working on it about a year now, close to it. How much work has been involved? That's the key question.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes, as far as actual cost involved, the engineer has already been approved. We've signed the contract. We've got a schematic design going, so that's where we're at. If we were to suspend it and move it to another area, we would be out the amount of money that he has done work so far to do on the schematic design on that particular property, and any geotechnical that we might have done already on that particular property. It's up to Dr. Z. If he directs me to wait on it, we certainly wait on it. We can proceed. But some of the work has been schematic design and geotech.
Dr. Salkowski, you want to comment, or that's it? Leave it at that?
Probably about $10,000 or $15,000, I would imagine.
Well, I mean,
so not a lot of money.
we can get all that, I think, in the proper form, Counselor. Can we just take it into that committee meeting? I don't think, your suggestion, we table it, we got to bring it back, or table it indefinitely.
you
It
can
doesn't matter.
do it any way. You can table it indefinitely, table it for next meeting,
I'd rather just die for lack of a motion.
and it just dies.
Okay, so I'll ask for a motion. I mean, unless anyone has anything else to say.
Well, is administration, do we want to talk about this some more, or what? Or are you
I
gonna
think
proceed?
we're wanting to, my recommendation would be to put it in a workshop,
We can do
facilities
that.
committee. And my request to the administration at this point, administration to consider holding until we have that discussion. And then they can get more or less the feel of the commission, of the board.
You want to just let it die then?
Unless you can have an action if you want. I mean, it's I'm going to ask for a motion. I'm just giving you my 2 cents worth. So if no one else has any,
Well, what does Dr. Zolkowski have to say about it?
I'm pretty sure he's nodded his head about 20 times, so I think he agrees that we will go into a workshop, and he agrees.
We'll just move it to a workshop. We'll hold on it
Okay.
until we have a workshop.
Let's just let it die then.
Well, I'm going to ask for a motion, and if no one, I'll let you, it's your agenda item, I'm going to give you the courtesy. Do I have a motion? Do I have a motion? Okay, item dies. We go on to B, recommend approval of the following payment. Number 11, recommend approval to pay Gomez Mendez Science Incorporated $2,307.60. PBK Architects Incorporated $507.51. American Contracting USA, $150,537.24. JDS Construction Company Incorporated, $224,662.65. Texair Company Incorporated, $16,150 for a grand total of $400,165 to be paid from local maintenance funds. Motion, please, to approve. Motion to approve. Okay, item fails. Move on.
Excuse me, what? So we won't pay anyone?
I guess nobody gets paid. Item number
We're going to get sued. That's
Well,
okay.
Counselor? They're uttering over here that we're going to get sued because we didn't pay. We can table. Motion died. Motion died. Thank you. Okay, we move on to item 16D, recommend approval.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Can we reconsider that item until there is at least a possible consideration of a motion for approval?
Counselor, are you going to have to help us on this one? I think the trustee wants to try to bring back, is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
It's up to you, Mr. Lehman.
Okay, what would be the form? I don't have my green sheet on Robert's rules. I left it, and I knew this day would
If
happen.
that was a motion to reconsider, then I'll second his motion to
Okay.
reconsider, and we'll vote
And I'll
on it.
move that we
So there's a motion to reconsider,
pay these people.
and item number 11.
Item 11.
And there's second.
I know, we don't go so
I'll-
fast.
I'll second.
Okay, well, okay, there's a motion and a second to reconsider item number 11, to recommend approval to pay the individuals stated for a grand total of $400,165.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. President?
Everybody was asleep, Mr. Powers? So there's a motion to
Can we
reconsider the
amend it?
approval of item number 11. Motion and second. All those in favor signify by raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye, saying aye. All those against? Motion carries. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, I left.
I think we probably should have amended the motion.
Amend the motion.
And-
Well,
Just a reconsideration. Now it's on the floor.
Now-
It's on the
Now we-
floor.
Now, motion to
I
amend,
move
Mr.
that
President?
we,
okay, okay.
Motion to amend?
Motion to approve?
To amend.
motion to approve.
To approve, no?
Parliamentary point of order, Mr. President.
Point-
We
no,
were
motion-
discussing the item already. I don't
Motion to-
understand the motion.
Well, the rescind, we approved on the,
We discussed it.
reconsidering. So now we want a motion to approve, correct? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the item?
I so move.
And second?
Second.
Motion to approve, and second on item number 11. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. There we go. So motion now, Mr. Gonzalez, you're happy? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
You're still red, boy.
I just couldn't believe it.
Yes, we did.
My boys are asleep today.
I was so fast. I was trying
Move on to item D, recommend approval of the following contract and agreements. Item 16, recommend approval to enter into an intergovernmental personnel agreement, IPA, Palo Alto Battlefield National Historic Site to implement the Teacher to Ranger to Teacher program for period June 1st, 2006 to May 31st, 2011.
So move.
Is there a motion and second?
I'll
So
second.
move.
Motion and second to approve. All those in favor, excuse me, Mr. Aguilar, you had a concern? or
No,
brief
just a comment.
Brief comment.
I just wanted to congratulate the administration. It's an excellent program that in long term we're going to benefit our science programs and all geography, all kinds of things. There's only one caution though. I know that the teacher's contract agreement says that she's entitled to go to another schools to do presentations, stuff like that, and during the school year, and which is good. I just want to make sure that those persons that get selected be cautioned about not spending too much time somewhere else, because the kid will suffer when we bring substitutes. That's all it was. But it's a darn good program.
Additional comments?
Yes. Is this 18? We're on 18?
16.
16, I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, there's a motion, Ms. Weaver, I'm sorry you had to wait. But there's a motion and a second to approve item 16. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Item 17, recommend approval to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Cameron County Juvenile Justice Department for a probation office to be located at the Brownsville Academic Center back for the 2005-2006 school year. Motion.
Approve.
To approve, second. Motion and second, Mr. Aguilar, comments?
Oh, yes, sir. I understand we're supposed to give him a free office space, computer, telephone, all this stuff, just like an office, regular office. How much time does he plan to be there during the day? And how many students are really in probation that it's necessary to have someone there full time? I mean,
I have Ms. Moore with me that can tell you the number of students, but this person, we have them coming in and out. This way we'll have our own rather than have a bunch of people coming in and out. But Ms. Moore,
how
if you
much
would
is a
like-
bunch?
Go ahead.
Mr. Lehman, Dr. Sikowski, member of the board. At the present time, at the end of the day today, we had 84 students at the Brownsville Academic Center. Of those 84 students, 35 of them are receiving services from Cameron County.
Well, they're in probation.
There are various degrees of probation. Some are on deferred prosecution, some are on pending status, some are on full-blown probation, some are just they're pending the status. So it varies. But they do meet with the students, and at the present time, there are about 8 to 10 probation officers, different probation officers that we contact, and this will enable us to be able to contact just one.
Well, again, it's a caution of that we don't want to turn our schools to be sort of like having the police there, they're having the judges there and whatnot. These are schools first, and we need to keep that in mind, Dr. Z.
Well, one of the things that we've experienced, at least Ms. Moore and I talked about, we had several probationary officers coming in. You know, we'd have 7 to 8 different people coming in, pulling students. Now we have a little office where they can talk to them on the property, not pull them aside, and we have one officer that works with us. We don't have a bunch of, this is our probation person to help these 35 kids. So we'll have a little bit, we won't be pulling them all over the place, or we don't know who the probation officer is because we have 7 or 8 people. This is one person that the county is willing to give us. All they asked for was an office with a phone and a computer. And we felt having our own probation officer rather than have 7 or 8 was a good idea.
I can understand that, sir, but then again, we also are going to allow our own security people to be around. And I know I know that is what's going on, and it's not an easy. It's hard, the administration and everybody else. But the thing again, we don't want to give a perception of having some kind of institution in the past it has failed but people get around and say, well, all of these police around, whatnot. And to me, it should be an educational environment.
Correct.
And not surrounded by policemen, surrounded by probation officers, surrounded all these people in and out. So when does instruction take place? One of the criticisms that we had when we got them together is instruction was not taking place.
Correct.
And we don't want to do the same mistake again. That's all I'm concerned about, Dr. Z.
Well, I'm the same way. It's an academic center, not an alternative school. But we feel like having all these probationary people coming in and out, and they have the right to see those children, that we at least keep that person there where we can control it. If it gets out of hand, Mr. Aguilar, I will make sure that we move that person. Mike has reviewed the contract for us, the MOU, and we're comfortable with it. It's just a matter of we're going to see how this works. We want to try this as a different method, but you're right. We have more teachers than we have security people. We only have a couple of security people. It's more very integrated learning, and one of the things that we've discovered is the number of students who are below reading level there that we're really working on. So Ms. Moore's on top of it. They've been kicking this idea around. We actually talked about this a month or two ago. We checked out several different systems before we brought it to this board.
Additional comments? There's a motion and a second to approve item 17. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. 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 Motion carries. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm against.
You're against? All those against, same sign. Ms. Galvan, you'll be voting against. So motion passes 6-1. Moving on to item 18, recommend approval to renew the electronic registrar online database license from eSchool Solutions, Orlando, Florida, in the amount of $30,713.25 from budgeted district-wide local funds for the 2005-2006 school year. Services to be purchased subject to the district's needs and funding. Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Second. Motion and second to approve. Discussion, Mr. Munoz?
Yes, on page 140, I would like someone to explain what the profiles, what those numbers mean, how we arrive at the cost of the program to us?
Dr. Garcia.
Thank you, Dr. Sulkowski, Mr. Lehman, members of the board. Mr. Munoz, the active profiles are our current teachers who are in the system. The system is an online registration program that allows our teachers to keep the registry for workshops or sessions that they have attended. We also have the inactive profiles that need to be kept for a period of 5 years, and the cost that incurred with that, and the numbers that we have in the system currently as of October 6th are 7,045 individuals. This also includes our certified professional staff, administrators. Mm-hmm.
When I saw these numbers, those numbers equate more to our total employee count. I think we only have 3,400 professional employees, so I was confused by this number.
That is correct. I will have Dr. Rita Hernandez or Luis
Dr. Hernandez
Segura, who will explain those numbers.
Mr. Lehman, Dr. Zolkowski, members of the board. Those number of active profiles is everybody in the district, from office staff to principals, assistant principals, teachers. The inactive files are individuals who may have retired or left the district. We keep those for record keeping. We have numerous grants, and we have to be able to backtrack all the professional development that occurs throughout our district, sir.
Do we feel that it's appropriate to it appears that we're using our total employee count here for billing purposes?
I think the numbers that they put together, they have to know how many files. I mean, the computer can tell you how many people are in there.
I thought we had about 7,500 total employees in the district. Here I see 7,338 active profiles. So
I didn't think we had that many, but it's possible.
You know, I can't.
These are numbers at the computer. I mean, we didn't just pull this number out of the sky. This is what the computer tells us we
It
have.
doesn't seem appropriate to be paying this fee for half these people that don't utilize this program.
Oh,
Do they?
sorry.
Ms.
Our local-
Dr. Hernandez.
Our local policy requires that everyone in our district accumulate so many professional development hours, either after school or during the day, and we have to track those. Individuals who have received licenses after certain days are required to have more hours than others. So it depends on when you received your license and what your role in the district and how much staff development you've received. Everyone is expected to go through professional development. This is how we track it, sir.
Good. Okay. Learn something.
It is a very good system for accountability because everyone in the district, whether they attend 1 hour in service or 3 hours, 6 hours in service, is inputting the information. And anytime the employee wants a record of it, all they need to do is put a PIN number and they get a record of the number of hours they have for that particular year or for that matter for 3 or 5 years. And we need to keep that according to regulations and compliances. Everyone needs to have X number of hours per year. Now, is this the same system we've been doing for
Yes,
for
sir.
years? Using
Yes,
for
sir,
years?
absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Thank you,
Additional
sir.
comments? There's a motion and a second to approve item 18. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Raising your hand. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 19, recommend approval to enter into an agreement with vendors JR3 Educational Associates and General Education Services Corporation and utilize the service from the vendor that can bring to the district the most qualified applicants. Motion,
So move.
second.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Discussion, Mr. Munoz.
Yes, I'd like to hear an explanation of what the advantage to the district is.
The advantage is that if we get well, first of all, the 12.4% from hiring retirees is one of the advantages, but also people that if we have shortage areas, we'll be able to attract those to JR3. And there has been a couple of cases where we haven't been able to get people approved that were retirees. So we went a different track, and I think Ms. Galvan, who has some experience in this form, and after we checked it out, I had Mr. Sanchez and Mr. Pineda check it out. We feel that it's a good avenue for our district to look at this, especially in shortage areas.
Is there not, I'll follow up on that, is there not a percentage? I think I read in here there was a similar percentage that we have to pay for insurance costs on top of it. It looked like a wash, actually.
Mr. Pineda?
It is our understanding, Dr. Zolkowski, Mr. Lehman, members of the board, in response to Mr. Munoz's question, it's our understanding that we contract with the company will handle that, and that the actual contract lies between the company and the employee. This gives us the opportunity to hire proven educators that have been out there in some of our critical shortage needs areas that we're still finding a tough time filling.
Are we going to save money?
Yes, sir.
I remember giving us a schematic or a breakdown, and it's a negotiated rate, so the employees come in at a lower rate. So I assume that there is
That's where the
significant
savings is.
savings. So I would make sure that those savings were there. Mr. Colunga, you had a question?
I would withdraw my question this time. I already had it answered by the information.
Additional comments, Dr. Escobedo?
Just briefly, who is JR3 other than a third-party provider of retired educators? Are they nationwide, statewide, or I've never really heard of them?
Mr. Pineda?
It's our understanding, sir, response to Dr. Zolkowski, members of the board, that this company is statewide, as is the other company. There are two companies in the state of Texas, and we're recommending, administration recommends both companies so that we can acquire the most qualified individual for the students that we serve.
Thank you.
Additional comments?
Lehman.
Yes, sir. Mr. Powers?
Thank you, Mr. Lehman. Dr. Z, the question I have going into this is, what's the difference between a retired teacher going to a principal and getting the name on a list and getting interviewed versus going to JR3?
You can't.
Because we've had teachers that are rehired teachers, but they don't get to a principal wants that person, but then they're stopped at administration. How are they going to know that on JR3 that's the one we want? And what is really the savings vehicle? Because I notice here, it does say we do have some cost, besides the cost of the employee.
Mr. Pineda?
Okay. Response, Dr. Z, Mr. Lehman, members of the board, one of the things that we're going to see right off the bat is a 12.4%. That is incurred by the companies. The second thing is that we will hire the company and tell the company this is what we're going to be wanting to pay the employee. Then, to respond to Mr. Powers' question, is that we in turn will notify our campus administrators that we have two companies out there and that we have some needs. They will work with the campus administrators, both these companies will, and then come in with the applicants to the administrator at the campus, and so that the campus administrator and the company representative, along with a prospective employee, will come to a means in allowing the principal to select the most qualified person that meets the needs of their campus and their students.
Let me ask a question. And then what is this here when it says there may be some fiscal implication due to TRS requiring the district to contribute 12.4% into the retirement plan and additional costs may incur for health coverages? So both of them are in there.
Dr. Zolkowski?
Mr. Sanchez?
Yes. Board members, Mr. Lehman, Mr. Powers, originally that's the wording of the legislation that was passed that we rehired them. So I put that in there, but if you also read further, it says that the district has also already budgeted funds to cover that. So we're covered, but I needed to say that because if we didn't go through a JR3 and the district decided to rehire, those would be the implications to us. But now, since we're using a third-party employment service, that basically these people are working for that employment service, and we're using their professional staff to come and work for us. Right. In addition, there's be some savings because there's no Chapter 21 issues, because if you get into Chapter 21 and hearings and so on, there are some costs associated with that. This eliminates all that. We don't have contracts to be issued. They're at-will employees. With our interviews, we also ask the question, well, what happens if a campus principal is dissatisfied? You let us know, we'll replace somebody else. We'll replace it with someone else that was in their pool. Basically, what it also does is, in other words, any individual teacher who wants to retire from the district basically can go to either one of these two services and said, I'd like to get into this program. I hope the district is not going to go back and try to hire people outside of these two third-party services. This is the whole thing. We're trying to funnel all the retires, rehires through either one of these two firms.
Dr. Salkowski, I have a follow-up question to
I
Mr.
got
Powers.
some more questions.
Well, I just want to know, I guess I want to hit the site-based management end of it, and to clarify it. I know, Mr. Powers, I'm confused. Not necessarily confused. Let's say a retired employee, local employee, wants to go back into the system, and they go to a particular campus. So he or she would then be told to either go to one of these firms and sign up. So that would be technically, okay. I guess that, go ahead, Mr. Powers.
Let me, and I don't mind the service, but, because I remember, Colonel and I were the only ones here when this was going on, about 5 years ago. We were told not to do it. I remember they didn't want us to do it, and they did a presentation. So I thought we were going to get a presentation on the effectiveness of this program, but we didn't get a presentation, so we're just going right to it. I thought we were going to get the pros and cons. The other thing I do ask is if these retired teachers are asked to go to these people, but our policy, DAA legal, equal employment opportunities, I mean, how are we going against our policy versus going over here?
Number one, Mr. Powers, all people that are hired, I have to make a recommendation
Correct.
for. You're right. Probably 5 years ago, I would question this system totally. I doubt many districts ever use this system because it really doesn't allow you the flexibility, and that's what you're talking about. But when they came out with 12.4%, and they did it to protect the teacher retirement system, it's a financial thing that the state did to protect the finances of the TRS system. They're pushing them through this, and that's what's really happened. We're in a different game than we were 5 years ago. Let me say this: if we have a top-notch teacher go through this program, the principal said, "Hey, get over there, and, go through this GR3 because you're who I want." So they still have the avenue because they're going to get to pick who they want. But what we're channeling is we don't want to waste any taxpayer money or funds on this 12.4% that we have to pay extra because we're hiring a retiree when we can hire them through JR3.
Okay, I'm going to be devil advocate to this
That's
next
good.
question. I'm a retired teacher. I don't want to go through GR3. I want to put an application in, and the principal, and they're not going to. Then we're violating policy. Then DAA legal.
I'm not recommending them.
So if site-based principal says I want Otis Powers, and that's it, they got to go.
They make a recommendation to me, and I make a recommendation to the board.
Okay.
But let me say this: they would go through it. And I'm going to say this, Mr. Powers: everyone is going to this because of that 12.4. Local taxpayers cannot pick up this cost.
How many districts are currently using this program in the valley?
Ms. Sanchez, you have an idea? I know Los Fresnos is.
Dr. Sikorsky, I do know that Donna, San Benito, Los Fresnos is using it, and I know Houston ISD is using it, Victoria is using it. Some of the bigger districts are using that program. And to answer that question, these employees are employees of the firm. They're not employees of the district, and therefore the site-based. But if the firm has four, let's say two each of the two firms for a bilingual teacher, then the principal can interview all four and make a recommendation to the superintendent. The superintendent in turn says, well,
Mr. Powers, I think they're going to gather up. Like if I need an English teacher, I'm going to get to see 6 people from JR3. I'll get to pick one rather than say, well, I think I may have to take this one. They're going to get to pick, and that's what JR3 is doing, is rounding up great teachers, and then they're placing them.
Okay. If I retire, another question, once again, I'm going to be devil's advocate here. I have 30 years of teaching. When I go to JR3, what do I have when I apply with JR3? Do I lose my 30 years of teaching experience? So you go at beginning level?
Not always. It depends on what JR3
negotiates with that person.
Yeah,
different districts handle it different ways, Mr. Powers.
I thought there was a state law that prohibit that had to at least be minimum TRS 20 years.
No.
They're already retired.
They're retired.
They're coming
Mr. Powers.
back. We have the option.
They're retired.
Even if they did retire, I thought we had that.
Dr. Zolkowski, one of the advantages that these companies offer some of the retirees is Social Security benefits that they don't pick up with us. And as going through this
Pick up their
third party,
quarters.
they can pick up
You
some
can pick
Social
up
Security
quarters,
quarters
exactly. There's some pros
for
and cons.
themselves.
So what's the cons, Mr. Lehman?
They're in the penitentiary.
That's the move, that's the movement of the state. The state created this,
Mr. Aguilar, go ahead.
Just a few remarks to my colleagues. The last conference we went to, the Association of Boards, they were recommended that we go this route. Not only was cost effective, but also there are other issues involved. Also, I guess he answered my question that eventually whoever they hire, they will still will have to be approved by the board, correct?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that's a basic.
They're certified, yeah.
So one other last question.
Yes, sir, Mr. Powers?
So the contract's on a year-to-year basis, and not no 5-year contract?
At will, he said.
Okay. I'm talking contract.
No contract. We just recommend both companies, so we have the option to work with both companies.
If they don't pan out, they're out. I'm sorry, Miss.
Yeah, I'd just like to comment that we
Galvin.
do have a shortage of teachers. These are experienced teachers, great teachers, and it's a way of helping them and the district. Helps them go back to teaching, helps the district save money. So it's a very good program.
Additional comments?
Good idea.
Doctor?
Just a very, very quick question. Would these teachers be primarily local, or they can be anywhere from the state, or what?
Probably local, because most people won't want to move. I mean, these are local people that retired, and they may be even from San Benito or Harlingen and may end up teaching in Brownsville, because we never know where they come from. But probably local, because they're going to need to live here. They're not going to be able to move.
Armadillo, Amarillo.
It's a local program.
Snow. I might want the sunshine. Okay, any additional comments?
Mr. Lehman.
Yes, sir.
If I've only had the opportunity to look at one of the contracts of one of these companies, and I didn't get it till Friday, and I'd like to be able to look at both contracts so we could have it subject to my review.
Would you want us to table it?
No, you can approve it. That's not a problem. They're the usual and customary deletions and additions that I make to the contracts. Nothing really substantive, venue, indemnity, those type things.
Okay.
That's fine. Mr. Pinheiro will get you that other one.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve item 19, subject to the attorney reviewing the contracts. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. 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 All those against? Mr. Powers? Against. Okay, motion carries 6-1. Going on to item E, recommend approval of the following applications, petitions. Recommend approval to submit to the Texas Education Agency a request for a waiver of school year 2005-2006 and 2006 and 2007 from TEC 89.1225H1 exhibit requirements from the bilingual educational program for students who have met state performance standards in the English version of the TAKS reading test and who will be able to function equally in a regular all-English instructional program. Motion to approve.
Move. Approve. Second.
Motion and second. Concern or comments, Mr. Aguilar?
Yes, first I want to thank the administration for taking care of this item. Basically, how many kids are we talking about?
Dr. Zagowski, Mr. Lehman, members of the board. Mr. Aguilar, there are 923 students.
Okay, now, last year you all said about 900 plus in the secondary. Were they all phased out last year, or they just kept them in the same program? Were they transitioned or not? I remember that you told me that you were going to do it in May at the end of the school because you did not want to interrupt the schedule. You did some in the elementary school, but not in the secondary. Were those transitioned in May?
Mr. Aguilar, that is correct.
These are going to be new ones, or?
These are the students who passed the TAKS test in May, and we're going through the process requesting a waiver simply because we have to waive the
English.
The Texas Education Code that is cited, Chapter 89, requires that the students have proficiency in their native language before they can be exited. And the students that you're referring to in January were secondary students. Those students were exited.
Okay. Mm-hmm. See, those were from the year, 2004?
Those were 2004, 2005.
Yeah.
It's a different group.
This is a different group.
It's a different group.
Dealing with.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to make sure that Yeah, it's a different group, and we did finish that plan we had last year, and everything's fine.
That is
Because
correct.
better, as soon as we do it, I think those young people will be transitioned and better served in a regular program. So thank you.
That is correct, sir.
Additional comments? All those, there's a motion, a second, to approve item 20. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Motion carries, unanimous. Going to F, recommend approval of the following bids. Item 21, recommend approval to award bid number 06-025 to Circle Industries, Harlingen, Texas, for construction services for the fire alarm bid package number 1 in the amount to exceed, wow, $406,000. Is that correct?
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed. Can we amend that? Okay, we'll amend that to make sure that it, how do you, just verbally, just say? Okay, the item is to read, amount not to exceed
That's good.
$406,000. Motion
Move to approve?
to recommend not to exceed that amount. Second. Motion and second. Mr. Munoz, discussion?
Yes, it says, item 21, that there are seven, I guess, elementary schools. Which are they?
Mr. Gonzalez.
They're on page 158. They're in the tabulation sheet. Del Castillo, Egley, Gonzalez, Morningside, Palm Grove, Villanueva, and Lincoln Park.
And they're averaging, it looks like they're averaging $58,000 apiece. Will we have uniformity in this? In other words, when we finish this, are all of our alarm systems going to be uniform? One of my other questions is how many more do we have to go? Are we just starting, or are we halfway through, or what?
What we're doing is we're upgrading to the code that the city has adopted, international codes, and so this will be uniform to the international code. ACR Engineering is doing the specifications, then the engineering will be done in accordance, or the installation will be done according to the codes of the international code. So, yes, once the schools are complete, to answer your question, yes, they will be in uniform in the sense that they will all have the same type of system in place.
The same type of hardware also, probably?
Probably. Most of them will probably have the same type of hardware that fits the school system the way it's designed.
So is this just the start of it, or do we have?
I think this is
30
phase 1 and phase 2, and I think that should complete it for most, unless we have updates as we go along.
Okay, good.
Then we had a budget of $2 million, something like that, no?
Yes.
I think so.
This is only $1 million.
We have
Okay.
two sets.
Additional comments? There's a motion and a second to approve item 21. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. All those against, motion carries unanimous. Item 22, recommend approval to award bid 06-026 to Circle Industries, Harlingen, Texas, for construction services for the fire alarm bid package number 2 in the amount not to exceed $576,000. Motion to approve.
Move to approve?
Second.
Second.
Motion and second. Mr. Munoz, same question. Same.
Yeah, these are also elementaries, or what's, it says 7.
Page 160.
5 schools.
On page 163, I think you'll see the bid, their alternative center, which is now the BLA, I believe. It's the old web campus. And then Cummings Middle School, Vela Middle School, Hannah High School, Rivera High School.
Yeah, the reason it caught my eye was they were $115,000 each.
They're bigger schools.
All right, thank you.
Additional comments? Yes, sir, Dr. Escobedo.
Brief comment. I'm glad these were not approved on the consent agenda. If not, we would have had to exceed these amounts.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for bringing that out.
Thank you, Doc.
There'll be push-ups tonight. There's a motion and a second to approve item 22. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. G, recommend approval of the following request for qualifications RFQ. Item 23, recommend approval for RFQ number 05-086 to accept the negotiated fee with Ambiotech Civil Engineering Group Incorporated, Brownsville, Texas, to provide civil engineering services for the parking lot projects at Hannah, Pace, and Porter High Schools in the amount not to exceed $78,100. Services to be provided subject to the district needs and funding. Motion to approve.
Move.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion and second to approve. Discussion, Mr. Munoz.
Yes, question. Is this the same engineer that did the design and management at Vermillion?
Mr. Gonzalez.
Mr. Tapia,
Is
I believe it is, right? Yes, it's the same one.
So now do they understand our district and change order policies?
Yes, sir. They understand. They've been in my office on numerous occasions.
I noted the fee looks like about 5.68%. It's I'm happy with that.
Appreciate that.
This was the same item that we
Same
did not vote on. So it's coming back, so we didn't nick it down, but it's okay. I guess, any additional comments? Okay, there's a motion to approve and a second, motion and a second to approve item 23. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. H, recommend approval of the following requests for proposals, RFPs. Item 24, recommend awarding RFP 06-2032 as a result of the volatility of the fuel prices. The vendor to be recommended will be finalized the afternoon of the board meeting based on the latest pricing data for which the vendor can provide a signable offer. Motion
Move.
to approve?
I'll second.
Motion and second to approve. Discussion, Mr. Munoz.
Yes, I noticed my question or my comment was going to be, are we going to have our energy consultant either close at hand or certainly on the telephone when we open these things up? And obviously, I think he's here tonight, so he will be here tomorrow. Is that correct? I'm glad to see that.
I will tell you that Mr. Gonzalez and Mr. Driggers have looked over, and we want to share some information with you on what we found out today, and I'll start with Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Dr. Sokowski, Mr. Lehman, members of the board. Really, this item is hopefully to allow administration to go ahead and be able to sign off on this. I was talking to Mr. Driggers and Mr. Cantu, Dan Cantu from maintenance on this afternoon, right before the board meeting. And it might be better off to wait. Due to the storm that's been out in the Gulf, the prices became very volatile again. And so we want to be able to do things and get the price down where we need to be. Mr. Driggers, our consultant, is working on that along with staff members from maintenance. And I'd like to ask Mr. Driggers to come up to the podium and sort of express what his recommendation is to administration, which I concur with. Mr. Driggers.
Yes, I certainly agree with what Mr. Gonzalez just said, Honorable President, members of the board. What has happened recently is pretty significant. A few days ago, I was all prepared to strongly recommend to you this evening that we sign a contract with one of these folks. I would still recommend that we approve the award because it is important that you start saving money. Right now, we do have firm bids that if you sign tonight could save you $200,000 to $300,000 in 6 months based on your current paying price to beat. However, the timing really could not be worse for signing a contract. So what I'm really recommending is you award or approve the award, but do not sign the contract for a period sometime during probably the next couple of weeks. Wait until Wilma does whatever it's going to do because it's got everyone scared. Gas prices went up today 33 cents, 11 cents yesterday. Last week they were going down. So we will probably be recommending to you that we enter into a contract once we hit a valley and we get to the point to where we can actually sign something. It might even be an MCPE type or a heating type contract, but something that will save you that money. But before you enter into a fixed price contract, if we defer it for some time, I feel fairly confident that we could actually get a better price. So it would be my recommendation that you go ahead and authorize one of your staff members, administration, or whomever to sign a contract, because when we do get the prices, as you know, typically, these prices are good for 24 hours. That's all the reps will hold them for, the retail energy providers. And we need someone to take advantage of that when that happens. So that's my recommendation. We must get off the price to beat, however.
Dr. Salkowski?
So administration is recommending, along with Mr. Driggers, that the board allow us the permission to look for the next 2 to 3 weeks, and when it gets at the very bottom, to go ahead and ink that contract so we can get the best rate and save money to the district. And that would be along with consultation with our energy manager.
Counselor, contracts come to me weeks, maybe months afterwards, and I put a date. So I don't know who would be signing this contract.
You all can authorize the superintendent. You all can authorize the superintendent to do so.
Okay.
Or his designee, whoever he would designate. But you all could only authorize him.
Okay, so how do we, this agenda item does not say that.
Rewrite the motion, reword the motion to authorize administration.
To act upon a favorable rate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any additional comments?
Mr. Lehman.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Lehman. Dr. Z, I'm lost here. We currently have 9 campuses being served by retail energy provider. And we have 51 schools, we have many auxiliary buildings. What do you mean by that? Why we only have 9? See, I'm lost on the reasoning for this.
What this simply means is that you have 9 schools that are in the deregulated area.
Okay.
Those were the ones that used to be served by CP&L, and that is the only one of the 3 utilities that was serving you that was deregulated. Now you can have your choice of hundreds of reps, and we have narrowed that to 4 very well-qualified retail energy providers.
Now, we're only going to do 9 campuses, or we're talking about the entire campus and auxiliary buildings?
They're the only ones that are deregulated.
Are those the only ones?
PUB has the other.
Oh, no wonder they didn't have to bid on this end. Oh, okay.
They got you.
Oh, got you now. Now I understand. Thank
That's
you,
a
Bob.
different certificated territory.
It's pretty simple.
And I should probably explain one other thing also, and that is the fact that when we make a recommendation,
Now,
that doesn't mean that the next 2 days it doesn't go down again, because there is some risk involved.
I just learned something.
Okay, any additional comments? Okay, there is a motion and a second to recommend awarding RFP number 06-203 to designate the superintendent to go ahead and sign and negotiate the contract for electrical power, correct? Okay. And all those in favor, I guess, the motion and second, so all those agreeing to that signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Then, Doctor, you will take care of that.
Along with Mr. Driggers.
Very good. Then we'll go on to item 10, closed meeting. Convene to closed meeting as pursuant to the Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.082, and 551.084. Board convenes closed meeting.